Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another edition of Speak That Talks. I'm excited for multiple reasons, mainly because this is the start of Black History Month for Speak That Talks. So I'm so happy to have people joining in. So it's not too late. Go ahead and grab some friends, grab your family members, consider sharing or hosting a watch party because we are about to have another empowering, inspiring, uplifting live conversation with today's special guest. I'll see you in 30 seconds. Well, that time always goes by fast. So, once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. I am really excited, as I said earlier, because this is a very special show. We are kicking off Black History Month. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to Speak That Talks. And not only are we celebrating Black History Month this month, we are also celebrating the 40th consecutive week of Speak That Talks. So, for all of you who have been tuning in since the very beginning on May 7th, I just want to thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. If you haven't tuned in since then, but you kind of hop in and out from time to time, thank you for that as well. Every view, every comment, every like really, really means a lot. So, for those of you who do not know, my name is Tiara M. Tucker. I am the founder and CEO of Tiara PR Network LLC, as well as Speak That Movement, which is now a 501c3 charitable organization, which will allow us to equip and empower even more professional women in business along their journeys of dream and goal realization. And we are on a mission to help combat social injustices and mental health issues along the way. So, to learn more about Speak That Movement, I would love for you all to just go check out the website, which is speakthatmovement.com. And if you want to learn more about Tierra PR Network, you can certainly go to tierraprnetwork.com. So, this is a live interactive show. So, what makes it fun and what makes it interactive is when all of you out there connect and socialize. So, if you are not on the Speak That Movement Facebook or YouTube page, please, please, please go to Speak That Movement on Facebook or YouTube. And from there, you can add your name, add your city, add your comments. Again, join us live on our Speak That Movement Facebook or YouTube page, and you can join in all of the fun that we're about to have. And as always, I want to know who's out there. So let us know. Add your name, add your city. Let us know who's out there. I see you out there, Miss Sheena. Thank you so much for just tuning in as often as you do and for being a former Speak That Talk speaker. So everybody else that's out there, let us know. Thank you for joining in. Let us know your name and your city. So without further ado, I want to get this conversation started because, like I said, we have a very special guest, and she is representing the state of Tennessee. So I'm here in Texas, and she is representing Tennessee. So I hope that everybody out there can give today's guest speaker, Miss Charlane Oliver, a warm welcome from whatever state you're in. Let's throw out some hearts, let's throw out some pumps, and let's welcome today's Speak That Talks guest speaker. Hey, lady.
Hey,
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being a guest. And I know you're out there doing some amazing things. So I am just honored that You are stopping in on Speak That Talks to help us celebrate Black History Month and also so that we can learn a little bit more about you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's Black History Month.
It definitely is
Black Excellence
Black
365.
excellence. And we have some folks out there showing some love. Hello, sister. Always nice to see you all out there. So let's get right down to it.
All right.
I'm happy that we were connected because life is all about connection. So our mutual friend, our mutual sister, Miss Teresa Parham, she thought that it'd be great that you and I knew each other. And she told me such great things about you. You're in Tennessee doing your thing. You're an award-winning community activist. You're the
Thank you.
co-founder and co-director of the Equity Alliance. You
Yep.
are a speaker. You're an activist. I mean, you just do a lot. You're a professional woman in business. You're a mother. You're a what? You're doing it. But tell everybody out there a little bit more about you if they don't know.
Yeah, I am originally from Little Rock, Arkansas. So Little Rock, Southern girl through and through. And I come from, single parent home and always just had to work for everything that I've earned up until now. I am a graduate of Vanderbilt University, and that's how I got to Tennessee. Ended up coming over to Tennessee and never left really. I spent all my adult life here in Tennessee and got my master's degree at University of Tennessee in Knoxville. Got a master's in public administration. Let's see, in the process, had a few kids, got married. So I've been married for been together 16, been married. It'll be 13 years next month.
Nice.
Yeah. And we have three children, 10 years old, 9 years old, and a 1 year old. So pray for me. I'm still not getting sleep. He ain't sleeping through the night. uh,
That's
when I'm not doing that, I sit on a few boards. I'm a community leader, and I run the Equity Alliance. I am an activist, as they like to call me, voting rights advocate, and out here trying to just get equity, justice for our people.
love it. So I like to say that I wear many tiaras because I feel like I have a lot of things that I love and that I'm involved in. And I love to meet people like yourself who have like this long list of things, right? Titles. But I also love that we're not title people.
Right? Yeah. Nah.
But I have
I'm a doer. I'm just a doer,
I
and
love
whatever titles you want to put on that, then go ahead. I'm a go getter. I'm a visionary. Like problem solver. Those are the things that I actively do. And then it just, hopefully, it spurs positive things like awards and things like that.
have had your share of awards. Like anybody who is wondering, you can look on the Speak That Movement website, the events page, or the Speak That Movement Facebook page or YouTube page, but you will see you have been blessed and honored, deservingly so, with a lot of recognition and accolades, which I feel that's a true testament of hard work. It's also a true testament that people are watching, they see you, they hear you, and you are truly
Mhm.
making a difference.
Thank you. Thank you.
So congrats. So let me ask you this though. Speaking of your awards, and I know
Hmm.
you have a lot of them. Is there one in particular that is like, oh my God, I would have never thought in a million years, Mama, I made it type of an award that you received?
Oh man. Yes. The most recent one that I received was being selected as the 2020 Person of the Year by the Tennessean, which is the main newspaper in Tennessee. So the editorial board selected me and my co-founder as the People of the Year. I
Wow.
was blown away when we got the word that that was going to happen. And this was actually like, well, we're in February, so this was December. right before a week before Christmas, they reached out to us, letting us know that we were going to be on the front page of their Sunday paper as People of the
Wow.
Year. And the thing that blows my mind about it is they don't just give this to anybody. This designation. This is an honor that is shared by Dolly Parton
Wow.
and Governor Bill Haslam, the governor of Tennessee. It is shared by oh gosh, who else? I'm drawing a blank here. Mayor Dean, former mayor of Nashville, um, some country music singers, and Taylor Swift is another person of the year. And they gave it to my little black ass.
No, not little at all. Like, I really got chills hearing you talk about that. Like, that is definitely a my mom made it moment.
Yeah, she was one of the first people I texted. I said, "Mama, look, like they got my picture. Like, look, I made Tennessean of the Year." And it is really it's one of those surreal things. Like, wow, like that is how people see me, as like up here with like Dolly Parton. And it's just interesting the work that we're doing. You don't really notice how much of an impact that it's having on people until you sit back and get selected Tennessean of the Year. And it's like, wow, we really are doing some heavy dope shit over here in Tennessee. If I must say so myself, we've accomplished a lot in 4 years that we've been
Four
around.
years. Okay,
Hmm.
I'm excited to dig deeper into more about what you're doing. So I'm gonna I'm gonna we're gonna dig into this. I want to know, and I want you to talk more about the Equity Alliance. I'm just gonna skip right to this because
Okay.
this organization that you have co-founded, you're the co-director. You all are doing some amazing things, and I mean, I was blown away just reading about it and looking on social media. But clearly, uh, you know, the editors of the newspaper also agreed. And tell us more. What is the Equity Alliance?
The Equity Alliance is we're a 501c3 nonprofit, but we are a power building organization that is focused on building Black political power amongst our people. And basically, we're also here to hold government accountable to the things that it says it's supposed to do for our communities. And so we are here to empower, educate, and engage Black people around how to be more involved in the civic process, and to be the change we want to see, and to be self determined so that we can. Um, have all the things, all the nice things that our community is so deserving of. So what that looks like is we do a lot of voter engagement um, programming. We go across the state, getting people registered to vote. We go out and we protest. We educate our community. We do forums. But the thing that is like the secret sauce to what we do, it's putting a little swag on everything. We insert Black culture into all of our programming. So, for instance, next week, instead of just calling it a candidate forum, we're hosting cocktails with the candidates, where there's a election going on in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and so we're going to help you out the vote down there because there's a possibility that the first mayor of Chattanooga could be Black. So, um, one of the things that really put us on the map back in 2018 was, well, let me go back. Let me not start there. We were formed in 2016, a week after Trump got elected. And that was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back for all of us. We co founded this organization. When I say we, 6 Black women came together and decided that we needed something in our community that engaged everyday Black people who are overlooked, who are underserved, and get ignored by our politicians and by our government. And they need a voice in our democracy. And so we set out to create the Equity Alliance and another organization to help get candidates elected because it just wasn't happening in Tennessee. And so we came together and formed this organization off of just sheer grit, passion, and no money. Like we didn't have any seed money. we each put in $250 of our own money, the six of us, to start this organization. And we just hit the ground running doing the work. And now we are here, one of the most formidable, powerful organizations in Tennessee, because in 2018, one of the first things we did that really got us on the map was we registered over 91,000 Black and Brown people to vote in 2 months.
And when you say we, what do you mean? Your organization?
Yes, so we coalitioned 25 organizations. We brought together 25 organizations, large and small, and we led this effort called the Tennessee Black Voter Project. It was an effort that hadn't been done in Tennessee before, with the goal of registering 55,000 Black people across the state for the 2018 midterms. At the time, we had one of the most competitive Senate races in the country, Phil Bredesen against Marsha Blackburn. And a lot of people wanted to vote, and it was going to be the first election right after Trump. So we know our people wanted to be motivated to come out, and so we had to go to register 55,000, and instead we registered over 91,000. We were going across the state, crisscrossing, making sure that we were dropping tens of thousands of forms on the desks of our election commissions across the state. Now, what you need to know about that is Memphis is in Shelby County. It's the largest and blackest city in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
It is also one of the most oppressed in Tennessee. The election commission there, when they got wind that we were dropping all these forms on their desk, and they're like, who is doing this? In Knoxville, in Chattanooga, in Nashville, in Memphis, in Madison, Tennessee, and they decided, when they realized it was a Black organization, they stopped processing our paper forms, our paper registration forms.
No way.
Yes, they accused us of registering dead people, convicted felons, of making up information just to get people registered to vote, people who just didn't exist, like Mickey Mouse. But what you need to know about Tennessee is we are ground zero for voter suppression. If you haven't heard that word, it's basically code word for keep them niggas from voting. And with Tennessee having Memphis being the blackest city, they didn't want us registering Memphians to vote. And so what happened was, by law, these folks have to register. If you submit a voter registration form in Tennessee, by law, the election commission is supposed to process that form. Even if you leave information off of there, they have to go back and follow up with that individual to get their information corrected to register to vote. Well, the process here, we had to sue them to actually get them to do their job and process those forms. And the judge sided with us and said, yep, y'all got to do that. So a week before the November election midterms, they had to scramble to register all these paper forms. So what the state said was this voter activist group of Black people overburdened the system, and caused chaos in their election process. So 6 months later, and they tried to say we cost the state over $250,000 because they had to hire all these overtime workers to get all these forms processed by election day so people could vote. So fast forward 6 months later, our Secretary of State Trey Hargett, the grand wizard of voter suppression, decides he's going to propose a bill that directly targeted our organization in retaliation.
Wow.
So what we know that in history, since we're talking about Black History Month, what happens is anytime Black folks make progress in this country, right after the Civil War, when we, during Reconstruction, we were starting to become senators and Congress people, and we were starting to own our own businesses. They said, these Black folks getting too much progress. We're going to burn their cities down, and we're going to start lynching people so that we can not get them to vote. Then they inserted the Jim Crow laws, right? And anytime stuff like that happens, Black folks lose their mind. White folks lose their mind when Black people actually start making progress. So in the same vein, that's what happened here. They said, well, we're going to create one of the most aggressive voter registration criminalization laws in the country. It would have made registering a large scale of people a crime, up to a year in jail.
What?
And it also would have made it a civil penalty up to $10,000 for submitting incorrect voter registration forms to the state. In addition to all these other like hurdles, right? So it was designed to stop our organization from doing large mass scale voter registration. And we said, nah, not today. We're gonna fight this.
The
So what we did,
one,
yeah,
right? NAH period.
yeah, nah, because y'all ain't met Charlane and Tequila. So we organized one of the largest protests of that year at the Capitol. I was 7 months pregnant at the time, protesting these white folks from passing this law. They passed it anyway, but we ended up suing the same day that our governor passed this law signed this law into in action, and we had to fight this bill in court, and we won. The judge in federal court, we filed on First Amendment and 14th Amendment rights, saying that it was against our free speech to register people to vote. And the judge basically ripped the state a new one because it was one of the just ridiculous laws. It became such a big deal. It made national news. We were in the New York Times, the Washington Post. We were on MSNBC. Rachel Maddow talked about it. Stacey Abrams tweeted about it. Kamala Harris at the time tweeted about it. William Barber. Like, it was a big deal because we were going to be the first state in the nation to have this most aggressive law. So we became known for fighting the state and winning. Like, yeah, and we have been fighting ever since. These racist governors and legislators who continue at every turn try to disenfranchise us and keep us from being successful and thriving in a pandemic. And that's what we do at the Equity Alliance, is we're fighting racial injustice and voter suppression.
That's what we do. Drops the mic.
Yeah.
Wow. So it should be very clear to everybody out there why you were on a cover of any publication.
Thank
so
you.
Here you are, you and your organization, just coming together, like you said, very little money, deciding 6 Black women, like, hey, let's get together, let's make a difference in our community.
Mm-hmm.
Against all odds.
Against, yeah.
Powerful people you all were. And you were making strides. You were making strides in history. And then,
right.
Folks weren't happy. So they tried to pull every obstacle, every detour in front of you all.
Yeah.
You didn't give up.
That's right. And that's not the last victory we had. This past year, one of the things that gave us to be, Tennesseans of the Year is we did a lot of work in 2020 in a pandemic to help our people. This pandemic really exacerbated a lot of the problems that already exist in our community, from poverty to virtual learning and education to healthcare, and us dying at more rates than any other population to the pandemic. And so one of the first things we did start to kick off the year, like, we have not stopped. When I tell you we have not stopped since March of 2020, we have not. March 3rd, 2020 was Super Tuesday. We were supposed to have an election. Instead, we woke up that morning to a disaster. We had a tornado rip through Nashville and it killed 25 people. And it went through one of the most historic predominantly Black neighborhoods in Nashville. And so we sprang into action and had to go and clean up our community, but go check on our people. And we launched the Don't Sell Out North campaign to basically, because what happened after Hurricane Katrina, folks started buying up properties and gentrifying the area. We didn't want that to happen. What's happening in Nashville is gentrifying all of our Black communities and pushing us out. We didn't want that to happen to the last Black community that we have here. And so we launched this program to educate homeowners, to encourage them to don't sell your home. after. Don't sell it to predatory developers who are just going to take it and flip it for profit. Keep that property because that is generational wealth.
Yes.
So that's one of the first things we did. A week after the tornado, this was March 3rd, on March 9th, the pandemic hit and the city shut down. So we ended up having to pivot to doing pandemic response. So then we started raising money to give checks. So we delivered over $75,000 to folks who needed economic relief in our community. So we basically were writing people checks who were lost, laid off their job, who lost income and things like that. So we did that for over 125 families. And then fast forward to the summer, George Floyd gets murdered in Minneapolis, and we organized the first protest in the city to protest racial injustice. And that brought out thousands of people to downtown Nashville. And unfortunately, that day, folks started burning down the city. Unfortunately, they burned down the courthouse during this protest, right after the protest, really. We really didn't have anything to do with it.
Now that you say that, well, not
Huh?
you or your organization, but
Yeah.
there was a lot going on around those protests. Ooh, the
So,
courthouse.
yeah, we are out here risking our bodies during a pandemic to go protest racial injustice and police brutality in a pandemic when we all supposed to be in our house.
Right.
So after that happens, fast forward, and we had to get ready for the election. And November and August, November comes, and we had to sue the state again because here it is a pandemic, and they don't want to let folks vote by mail. So we sued them to make sure that every Tennessean had the option to submit an absentee ballot if they wanted it to vote in the November and August elections. And so we filed a lawsuit because in Tennessee, only 2% of Tennesseans request an absentee ballot. And so it would have created a really big problem for the state to be able to process absentee paper ballots. But what we knew is that Black folks were getting, dying from this pandemic, and we didn't want them risking their health. And so we did win that lawsuit as well for August, and was able to allow every Tennessean to request an absentee ballot if they wanted one. And we also scored a victory so that first-time voters could also vote by absentee mail, which is normally against the law here. So we expanded ballot access in 2020, so we're proud about that too.
I'm just speechless. I'm like I need to put in a bid for you to be on about 5 more covers this year, okay?
I mean, we don't do it alone. We have a really great team, a really great core of volunteers. Like I can't thank the community enough. We have really good community support.
Yeah. And speaking of your community support, we pull this up, Miss Tariva, saying Charlene and the Equity Alliance are out here doing the Lord's work.
Yes, ma'am. And this is divine assignment. Let me tell you, I wouldn't be doing this if God didn't tell me to.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Tariva.
Hey,
So
Teresa.
speaking of that, I want to pull up another comment. We have a lot of interaction here, as you can see. So shout out to everybody out there that's tuning in. I hope you all are just getting a lot out of this. Just seeing how when people come together, how powerful it can be. But I want to pull up this comment, and I want you to respond to this, and then we're going to move on to another topic. So someone said, and I'm trying to find it here because I wanted to hold it for now.
Okay.
So Karen, representing Illinois, she said, I want to be you when I grow up. So
Wow.
I want you to address this, but this is how I want you to address it. When you think about all those things that you have described, and I'm talking about your entire journey. I mean, I'm talking about from leaving home, going to college, and you know, being in Tennessee and starting this organization and all of the things that have come in your way and you kept going. What would you say are the top three to five traits to being Charlane. What does it take to be you?
Ooh, I mean, putting God first and being obedient. Number one, listening to Him and letting Him order my steps. This has been a God ordained, blessed organization. I can't say that enough. Like, this is my testimony. Like, God is working through me to bless people, to be a blessing to people. Um, Definitely work ethic. Like, this again, faith without works is dead. Like, you gotta put in the work. This is hard, draining work. And we don't get to do this without putting in the grunt work. That's how we get justice and liberation. Like, a lot of people are out here just doing it for a check or for social media fame, but we are truly out here trying to do the work that is necessary to get the stuff that Dr. King talked about we needed.
Yeah.
So, work ethic and a lot of courage. I grew up really shy. That's my nickname. That's my family nickname. What they call me. I'm very introverted, and it takes a lot of courage to get out here and be on Facebook Live, to protest, to be out in front of large crowds, and to take on white supremacy, to take on like powerful structures. And you got to just walk fearless
Yeah.
and just know that God is behind you, and God is with you. And so, yeah, I would say that, being courageous and fearless. And what else? Just, I also suffer from imposter syndrome. It's like,
Yeah.
not me. Like, how is this supposed to be? How am I doing this? And it's, you just gotta have a lot of like believing in yourself, just believing in yourself that like God's gonna work it out. Just keep moving forward. So that's all I can say is this is God. It's all God. It's all God.
And as Sarah just said, speak.
And speak it into existence. Write it down, write that vision, speak it into existence, and it'll happen. I can't tell you how much where I have like thought a thing and spoke a thing and it happened, because God, the power of the tongue is really powerful, and the law of attraction in the universe attracts positive, good things to the organization and to myself, and just, it's blessed. This is an anointed mission. I can't say that enough. And God is good. God is really good.
And thank you for sharing that. And I've never asked anybody that question, and you may not have ever had the question come up, but I
No.
I commend you for your responses, and I know there's so many more. Obviously, so many more traits and characteristics, but kudos for the top ones that you chose, because I totally agree. And kudos to you. I like that she just wants to give you a hug, like, and I
Wow.
salute people like you and her and everybody else out there, folks that are watching right now, that are out, you know, in the streets, like I joke with Kiera because she and I mean,
Hmm.
we hit the highway in Dallas, okay? We shut down the highway.
That's what's up.
And the
That's what's
thing
up.
is, when you think about that, it's like, why would we do such a thing? But it's like, you know what, in that moment and all that we were dealing with, not just during, the George Floyd
Right.
time
Right.
period. And I'm always telling people, if the only three names that you could think of are George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and
And my Ivory.
and my heart goes out, please know that. But if those
Yep.
are the only three names that you could think of, then you need to open your eyes. Open.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it started for me. My political awakening, that aha moment, was Trayvon Martin. That's what got me in the movement. Is when he was murdered. He was murdered 2 days before my son was born, and for me, it was like the reality of like, I'm about to be raising a son who could be sitting duck, walking out here getting killed on the street. I got to do something about that. Trayvon Martin is my son.
That's right.
And I can't not be out here speaking up and speaking out and acting out, because it's just they don't they don't regard us as human, and we're just disposable to them. Them being the white supremacy structure, and we just can't afford to just be sitting down not doing anything. This country is ours. We built it, and we have to own it. It is ours for the taking, and we can't just sit back and let other people do our work. This is a movement because we all have to be in it. Like, it can't just be Charlane and Tiara doing all the work. We get tired, but it has to be everyone doing their part. Not everyone can be on the front lines protesting. Everybody can do something. And that's something you got to find, that's getting active in politics. I hate when people say, I don't do politics. I don't get involved in politics. If you don't, then you are a slave to the system, because you are being a tool and manipulated.
Mm.
Because you're allowing someone else to speak for you. You're allowing someone to control your life without you having a say in it. That is exactly what politics is. You're paying your tax dollars to a system that is oppressing us. And so we have to make sure that we're speaking up. We don't do that enough. White people do this all day long, and look at them. They up there climbing up the walls of the Capitol because they feel like their power is being taken from them.
Wow.
So we have to do not that, but we have to be speaking up in different ways that gets the justice that we need to see for our communities.
I love that. And you know something.
So I just get riled up.
What? No, I love it.
I'm
So
over here
let's
hot.
do something. I know, and you know what? That's nothing but passion right now, you know. But
Mhm.
let's spin this. Let's spin this. Women.
Sorry, I know I've been rambling. Yes, let's
No,
finish.
no, this is amazing. Like, I love this energy because you have a spirit about you. I just want to say this to you. It is coming through this live broadcast. You can't hold it in, sister. It's in you. And
It's
you
in
made it
me.
very clear. God has, I will say this, God has chosen you. There are some people in our lifetimes that I believe have been chosen to do certain things. They are being prepared, they're being protected, they're being covered. They are true soldiers. And
Yes.
you are one of them. And I feel it. I see it. You know,
Yes.
you and I, we talked on the phone before this. We talked on the phone yesterday. We've been communicating via email. But what I'm
Yes.
feeling right now, this is you, sister. This is your time. This
Thank
is
you.
your season. This is your calling.
Wow.
So
Thank you.
whatever emotions you are feeling, you let them out because we need people like you. And on behalf of Speak That Movement, on behalf of Speak That Talks, and on behalf of everybody out here listening, I just want to say we salute you, sister. Okay?
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
yes. So um I want us to talk real quick. Because one thing that we love, you know, Speak That Movement is empowerment. And you really hit on some things. So, you know, like you said, everybody, you know, may not be out there on the front line. You know, some people, you know, for various reasons, and we will never
Mhm.
knock those people at all,
Right.
because I
Right.
believe that everybody has a voice, and everybody can choose to use their voice how they would like to, whether it's loudly, whether it's silently, publicly, privately, whatever. That's your
Yep.
choice. But let's just talk real quick on voter empowerment. With all that you've been doing, you know, we just had a major election. So, you know, right now, you know, some people may feel like a breath of fresh air, but the work isn't
Yes.
done. So what is it that you think of when you see this hashtag right here, voter empowerment?
Voter empowerment is about owning your power. It's about feeling bold enough to speak up and to not let others speak for you when it comes to anything related to policy. Anything that is exists in America, it's a policy attached to it, and that policy is made by a policy maker, and that policy maker is voted on by the people through a vote. And so when you think about every issue that you care about, that you're passionate about, whether it's the bills that you have to pay that you don't want to pay, whether it's I don't care what it is, there's somebody made a law that impacts it. And we cannot afford to sit on the sidelines and not have a say so in how those laws are shaped and governed and done. Because there are serious consequences and unintended consequences to how those policies get laid out in real time. If this pandemic hasn't shown us anything, it is how influential our government is to our lives, right down to putting a vaccine into our bodies. They can control who gets it and who doesn't, right down to who gets laid off and how and who gets a check, like
And
who
how much?
eats. Yeah, right down to our kids and how they get educated. Like, government touches all aspects of our lives, and we have to be voting. That is one of the most powerful tools in our toolbox. And when I say toolbox, we have a whole arsenal of things that we do to impact democracy. Voting is one, running for office, serving on boards and commissions, protesting, petitioning, referendums, like you name it. There's the census, like all these things is how democracy is made. But it doesn't work without us until we participate. It is not a spectator sport. You have to actually be participating in democracy through your vote. If you're talking about my vote don't matter, the reason why is because you aren't voting. It is a it is, I hate to say it, it's a repetitive cycle. The ones that don't vote, they don't get heard. And so those policies that politicians are making, they only listen to the people who vote. So therefore, when the next election comes around, your door doesn't get knocked because you're not in the system of voting. A politician is not going to go talk to people who don't vote. So it's this self-fulfilling prophecy of you're locked out of the system. You're out on the sidelines being overlooked. So you have to participate. You got to get in the game. And by getting in the game means to vote. So yes, use your toolbox. Use all the tools in that toolbox to make democracy yours.
Yeah. Nice. So there you have it.
And I'm sorry,
Keep
I gotta
going.
say this too.
Go ahead.
Democracy is not just voting for president. We have to be voting all year round and every year. There is, I guarantee you, almost an election every year in your community, whether it's voting for judges, voting for school board members, voting for register of deeds, all these little offices you never even heard of. They shape our lives. One of the things that we do is we publish a Tennessee voter guide, and it lists all the candidates that are on the ballot. It shows a picture of them. We give them a definition of what that office is doing, like what it does in your community. And people love this tool. You can go to tnvoterguides.com and really look at how that looks. But it's an educational tool to help educate people, because we're not here to shame folks. This is not about wagging the finger saying your ancestors died for you. You will never hear the Equity Alliance say that, because that is a shaming tool. What we're here is to empower you. We're here to hold your hand. If you don't know something, we're gonna educate you. Because 9 times out of 10, a lot of people who don't vote, it's because it's an education thing. They don't know. They don't know all the rules and things that is required, and so they're ashamed to even admit it. So they're just gonna say, "I don't vote." It's a defense mechanism. So anyway, voter empowerment is about voting all year, every year.
Love it. Love it. So wow, like I don't even have anything to vote for tomorrow, but I want to like just go and vote. Like I feel like empowered. But I love that. And you just really hit on so many things. And I'm just gonna acknowledge a few comments here. NAACP has a report card for all elected officials.
Nice.
Sheena, empowerment voting for sure.
Yep.
Tariva,
I see you, Tariva.
www.tnvoterguides.com. Look at her. Always there, just being an amazing,
being an organizer in the comments.
right. So there you are. Take a look at that. Check it out because this is a resource that this wonderful organization has created. And I'm gonna shout this out as Lanita, fellow Miss Speak That Movement executive board member says, use your toolbox.
Yep.
Yes. Well, listen, we're going to shift gears again because we're going to go to another hot topic. And this
Okay.
has truly been very educational, very empowering, and very inspiring. So thank you so much. I hope that I can get you back on, maybe later in the year. And definitely, I consider you to be a resource when it comes to
Okay.
voting and voting suppression and social justice. So we're going to shift gears here because this is Black History Month.
All right.
All kinds of hearts out there because this is, one of my favorite months. I love December, I love March, but I also love February. And I love February because of obviously Black History Month, but also because of so many more things. It's a it shows that we made it through the first month of January,
Right.
and now
Oof.
we're stepping into another one. So,
Yes.
uh, when we think about Black History Month, I feel like, just listening to you and all the things that you are doing, like you are truly a history shaper. You are definitely doing your thing. And so that's why, again, I salute you. But I'm
Thank
curious to
you.
know when we think about Black History Month, who are like, maybe two people, maybe three people that you really think about or you honor and you just show love to when you think about Black History Month.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Black women. I love me some black women.
Yep.
They are the backbone we are the backbone of democracy. We just get shit done. Like we just
Yes.
always that's just it's been our in our nature. Like we just get
Sentimentally.
it done. And so I just admire all the black women throughout history. I mean, Harriet Tubman, oh, she's my spirit warrior. Like she carried a pistol,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? Not to shoot the white folks, but to shoot the black folks who was gonna try to turn around.
mm.
That's the kind of energy
That's
I
some
got.
real stuff.
Like if you ain't with us, nigga, get out the way. Like that's how I feel about things.
I love it.
So Harriet Tubman, I mean Fannie Lou Hamer, um, Ida B. Wells, Shirley Chisholm. I think about Ella Baker and Septima Clark and what was the other woman? Daisy Bates, who helped with the Little Rock Nine, segregation, desegregation. Septima Clark was the founder of the Citizen Schools here in Tennessee. She founded this, like, basically, it's a citizen school to help Black people take the literacy test back in the 50s and 60s and help them learn how to register to vote. And
Mm,
so I think about those women who, and Ella Baker, and I wonder, like, how they felt being overlooked.
yeah.
And this is a patriarchal society, and this is no dig to Dr. King or any of all the men who get all the credit. But I wonder how they felt being in the background, knowing that I'm pretty sure they were doing the work.
Oh God.
They were
Hard work.
the women organized the Montgomery bus boycotts.
Yeah.
That wasn't Dr. King, but unfortunately he gets all the credit.
Yeah.
And so I just think about Black women who are constantly put to the back burner and told, go sit in the corner, we got this. But they have all the ideas and the work ethic. So those are the women I think about. Stacey Abrams,
Oh
like
yeah.
Black women flipped
Stacey.
Georgia. Like
Yes.
Black women did that in Georgia. We now have a Democratic Senate because of them.
And
Like
I see
we
that
have
she's
a
nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. So shout out,
yes,
sis. Shout out, sis.
yes. Like she deserves it. She
Yes.
deserves it.
And Dorothy Height, yes,
Mm-hmm.
my soror. So yeah, everybody, keep us posted. Who are your faves? Who are your faves? So speaking of that, Black History Month. When I think about Karen, Stacey Abrams, definitely a hero. Definitely a hero.
Yep. Yep.
So you hit on something. Black girl magic all day long. All
All
day.
day, every day.
Like, I mean, if you have a message right now to all the black women out there, like, let's just say that right now, um, let's
Hmm.
say that CNN called you tonight. CNN,
So we gonna speak that into existence one day. That's gonna happen.
CNN called you tonight because they're about to do a special episode with VP Harris, and they want you to be by her side. But your question of the evening is, how do you define black girl magic?
Black girl magic, it can't be defined. We can't be put in boxes. And black girl magic is the secret sauce to making the world better. Like, the world doesn't move without black women. And so to black women, I say, this is your time. It's our time to rise up and to take our rightful place as leaders in this country, in the boardrooms, and in the courtrooms, and in Congress. It is our time to lead. And we've been sitting back doubting ourselves way too long, myself included. And it is time. It is time. The world needs us. This country needs us. They need our leadership. They need our foresight. They need our instinct. That black girl instinct is a powerful force. And right now we need it to lead. And listen to that instinct. Listen to that voice that's telling you to lead and step up. Right now is our time.
Drops the mic again. I love it. I love it. Listen, this has been phenomenal, but it's wrapping up. I have enjoyed every single thing you have talked about and just really
Thank you.
conversation. So thank you again for being the guest on Speak That Talks to kick off our February series. So I am ready to have you take the Speak That Talks platform because right now we are about to have our Speak That Movement speed round.
Uh-oh.
I
Okay.
like to say that this is my favorite part of every episode because the Speak That Movement speed round is all about me asking our guests to share their thoughts on the four pillars of Speak That Movement, which
Okay.
are dream it, believe it, speak it, and walk it. So, one by one, I'm going to ask you to just briefly share your thoughts on each pillar. And as you do this, I want you to really speak to the women out there, to the
Hmm.
black women in particular.
Okay.
So you just spoke life to us with that black girl magic.
Okay.
I want you to just go a little deeper. And we're going to start with speak that movement pillar number 1, dream it.
Every good thing starts with a dream. You got to write that dream, that vision down, and believe in it. That's the next one. Dream it.
There you
Dream it and imagine it. Believe it. Believe in yourself.
go.
If no one else does, believe in yourself. That's what you got to do.
I love it. I love it. So we're dreaming it. We're believing it. Now talk to us a little bit more about speak it.
You know, us black women, we love to doubt ourselves, but we got to speak life into ourselves. Speak it. Affirm yourself every day. And as I say this, I am preaching to myself. Speak that positive affirmation into yourself, and speak the thing that you want to happen. Good things come from our tongue. The power of life is in the tongue. So speak it. Speak the thing into existence.
Wow, that is absolutely phenomenal. And last but certainly not least, Miss Charlane, representing Tennessee. Miss, just voter suppression queen, award-winning community organizer and activist, and the co-founder and co-director of the Equity Alliance. Tell us your thoughts on Walk It.
Whew. So one of the things I like to do is hashtag less talk, more action. I'm about being about that thing. I don't talk about it, I be about it. So you got to walk the walk. You got to be able to put up or shut up. You also got to be able to back it up. So walk into your light as well. So walk it out. Walk it out, walk it out, walk it out. Hey, you know what I'm saying? You got to walk it. So
Oh, I love it. So what's so funny about that is
be the change. Be the change we want to see. You got to be it. You can't ask somebody else to do it if you ain't doing it. Got to be it.
that's right. And as Karen said, be about it. Wow. Well, thank you so much. That's right, Teresa. Less
Look at the reason.
more action.
Yep.
And you definitely are a woman of action. So please, please, please tell us, how can people stay in touch? How can they learn more about what you're doing? How can they follow you? How can they support you? How can they
Yes.
bless you?
Most importantly, support the Equity Alliance. Support comes in many different ways. You can donate. Go to the equityalliance.org/donate to write a check. I mean, people donate $5. That's whatever you can give. We love it. If you can always volunteer, even from out of state. We do virtual phone banks and all kinds of things that you can do from your couch. Um, Tell people about us. That's the other way you can support us. You want me to come speak to somebody else, like connect me, get in touch with Tiara, and we can make it happen. You can follow me. Follow me on Twitter at Charlane O on Twitter and Instagram, Life According to Char. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the Equity Alliance. So we
Nice.
got a lot of stuff popping on Instagram and Facebook. So we have a pretty active social media. So even if you aren't in Tennessee, there's stuff you can benefit from the things that we say. And we're very unapologetic. We do not hold back on our social media. So
I
thank
love
you.
it.
Thank you. Thank you, Tiara, for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being a part of this show. Thank you, Miss Teresa out there, for connecting us. As me and Teresa, we've been knowing each other for a very long time, and I love her to death, and I'm so happy that God saw fit for all three of us to connect.
That's right.
Thank you. And again, I just want to tell you, you are doing an amazing thing.
Thank you.
I know that, in your role, there may be days sometimes that feel weary, some days where you're tired, exhausted,
Yes.
but I am just so happy to know that you know where your strength comes from.
Mhm.
And as long as you know that, you will continue to fight the good fight and you'll continue to get the strength. But when you don't, make sure you rest, right? Because we know one thing we didn't talk about today, but the mental health
Yes.
of our people and everybody is so important.
Rest is revolutionary.
I love that. Somebody put that in the hashtags. Rest is revolutionary.
Yes.
I
They
love
want us to grow tired. They
it.
want us to give up. But when we rest, we got another day to fight.
Ooh, the renewal of the mind, the renewal of the spirit, and the renewal of
Yes, God. Come on. Yes.
I love it. Well, thank you again for blessing the Speak That Talks platform. Any final words as you close out?
No, I mean, hopefully I said enough. Be empowered to vote, be empowered to be yourself. And yeah, let's get out here and be the change. Be the change we want to see wherever you are. If you in Dallas, Chicago, Nashville, there is work to be done in our communities. Wherever Black people are, there is work to be done.
Love it. All right, everybody, please send her some virtual love symbols, some virtual pounds and pumps and everything else. Thank you so much. And I wish you and your organization nothing but the best because I know the best is yet to come for you.
Amen.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Wow, there you have it. What a wonderful kickoff to Black History Month. And I just, again, shout out to our guest speaker today because I feel like she set the tone unapologetically, unscripted, unfiltered, and uncensored. So I hope that everybody out there that you got something out of today. If you listen, you should have caught something. So thank you for tuning in. I'll ask that you all continue to watch Speak That Talks because we're going to be on fire all month. Today was the kickoff. Next week, join us for the next Speak That Talks on February 11th, 2011, which is a Thursday. As you saw today, we had a guest speaker representing Tennessee. Next week, I have a speaker representing New Orleans, baby. So, Mr. Gerald Baptiste Jr. So he is the founder, the CEO of Eagle Eye Resources, and he is out here doing some things to shape history as well. So if you all are able, we would love to see you all next Thursday. Speak That Talks, same place, same location, Speak That Movement. Shout out to everybody out there that's already gotten your Speak That Movement Empowerment calendar. I mean, they are selling like hot cakes. So thank you so much to everybody that has purchased them. These are the Speak That Movement signature fundraiser items where 12 months out of the year, you will be empowered, motivated, inspired, and you will be encouraged to go after your dreams and make your goals a reality. So check it out on the speakthatmovement.com page. Last but certainly not least, thank you all for supporting Tiara PR Network, Speak That Movement, and Speak That Talks. Again, to learn more, check out the website, which is www.speakthat.com. And as always, may God bless you and protect you. So as I close out, I want to close out with some words from today's guest speaker, Miss Charlane. Take a look.
I have a pretty demanding career. I wear many different hats in the community. My family, they can drive me nuts. And I have a pretty decent social life. I'm a wife. I have 2 kids in school. And if you hadn't noticed, I've got another one on the way. So life for me is about to get real interesting. You think with all these demands on my time, I'd be a coffee drinker. But instead, my drink of choice is tea. Tea is one of those diverse beverages that can be consumed many different ways. I particularly like to drink my tea hot. You can also drink it chilled on ice. You can have it with sugar, honey, cinnamon, turmeric, mint, ginger. But my favorite is lemons. As you can see, there's a lot of choices that go into making tea. Choices are good. They make you feel empowered, emboldened, independent. Put another way, that's what we call privilege in 2018. See, if you're a white male, well, you've got all the choices in the world. But if you're a person of color or a woman or both, like me, you may have the tea bag, but you rarely have the options to make life sweet. And that's what it's like to vote as a person of color in America. Theoretically speaking, voting should be a right. It's our civic duty. It's what we all should be doing. It's an obligation. But for some, voting is actually a privilege. We take for granted the opportunity to get in our car and conveniently go vote. But for some, they don't have it that easily. So the Equity Alliance was founded to remove barriers so that everyone can have equitable access to the voting booth and use their power as a weapon in the fight for social justice. The Equity Alliance story is about how 6 Black women channeled our anger into action and did something about the sour lemons in our community to make sweet tea. Most importantly, this is about how we join the collective fight to save the soul of America. 2012, it was a year that kicked off a series of tragic events that, if you were Black, left a bitter taste in your mouth. Life was full of traumatic lemons. See, in 2012, I'm gonna get through this without crying. My son was born 2 days before Trayvon Martin, sorry, Trayvon Martin, he was gunned down by George Zimmerman, all because he was the wrong skin color in a Florida neighborhood that he had every right to be in. And when George Zimmerman was acquitted on all charges, mine and every Black mother's fear was realized that it hit home for me. My son could end up like Trayvon Martin. Nobody would be held accountable for that. Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Terrence Crutcher. For many, even though most of our Black boys and men were being gunned down by the hands of police, while that was happening, Black residents in Flint, Michigan were being poisoned and exposed to lead poisoning in their drinking water by a government that denied responsibility. And then in the oldest Black church in America, 9 Black church members were gunned down by white supremacists in Charleston, South Carolina. Incident after incident, I became angry at the systems that were supposed to be protecting us. But instead, they were treating people who looked like me unfairly. So what could I do? At this point, I had already worked for several different nonprofits and government agencies. I thought, well, maybe I need to go to law school and become a civil rights attorney. Maybe I become a Black Lives Matter activist and go protest on the front lines. Or maybe I run for office. So instead, after 10 years of public service, I began to realize how we put a Band-Aid on the systems and root causes of inequity and injustice. I began to make the connection between poverty and public policy. When you deconstruct the political system, I realized that everything jacked up about it starts with the vote. So I volunteered on the local school board campaign, and that's where I met 2 of the Black women who would later make sweet tea with me. Christian Bugs, the candidate in the middle, and Tequila Johnson, her campaign manager. I was communications director, and so between the 3 of us, we made a pretty good team. So much so, we won that race. But it didn't come without some hard, bitter lemons to swallow. First of all, we were told to wait our turn. We're too young to be running for office. Secondly, we didn't have the community support from leaders saying and mentoring us on the do's and don'ts of campaigning. We were just figuring it out on our own. Thirdly, we didn't have thousands of dollars in campaign contributions flowing into our campaign coffers like our opponent did. And sadly, we weren't seeing the engagement from Black residents. Even though Metro Schools has a large population of Black and brown families, the only people showing up to campaign events were white, affluent East Nashville residents. When it came time to knock on doors and ask for votes, well, we were seeing large pockets of neighborhoods where there were registered voters that were getting ignored. Why was that? What was up with that? So experienced campaign consultants told us, don't waste your time because those people don't vote. Come to find out, those neighborhoods were public housing projects like Casey Homes, where a lot of Black people live. That didn't sit well with us. And then the mother of all lemons dropped in our tea, the 2016 presidential election.
And there you have it, a sneak peek of Miss Charlane's TEDx that you can catch on YouTube. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you to our special guest speaker. To learn more about her, check out her website. And again, looking forward to seeing you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.